Fire. It is the most powerful of all the elements. When harnessed, it can be one of our greatest allies, a more than useful partner of industry. Uncontrolled, however, it is our worst and most feared enemy. Given the right conditions, one small flame can multiply thousands and millions of times over and produce a raging inferno. Fire's ability to destroy life and property is without comparison. Furthermore, statistics show that 7 out of every 10 business premises that are destroyed by fire never reopen. And the other 3 all experience great disruption, hardship, and lost business whilst rebuilding takes place. Everyone has a vested interest in how fires can be prevented in the workplace. The areas and the processes that could be a fire risk in your workplace should be identified and assessed so that they can be controlled. Examples of some of these could include type of building construction, processes and manufacturing operations, maintenance operations, and the storage and handling of materials. Where these areas have been identified in the past, prevention measures have included good housekeeping, regular inspections by fire safety personnel, the following of safe working practices, proper chemical and dangerous goods storage, the correct disposal of wastes, strict control of hot work, and easy accessibility to all fire equipment. There are many simple things that you as an employee can do to minimize the risks in your workplace. These include looking after your own work area and making sure you keep it clean and free from waste, knowing the location of the firefighting equipment in your workplace, not over-storing products in your area, and not storing flammables such as cleaning fluids, photocopier inks, or even oily or solvent-soaked rags. It takes little time to use safe work practices. Smoking should only take place in designated areas and cigarettes disposed of in the bins provided. Familiarization is also important. You must be very clear on the evacuation procedures and firefighting steps now. You won't have time during a fire to start reading instructions. A fire can become out of control within a few seconds. There is no use in having a rough idea of what should happen. A powerful line of defense against fire is the fire extinguisher. But there are different types of fire extinguishers, all designed to do different jobs. It is important that you know now what the correct procedures are and exactly how to operate the fire extinguishers in your organization. Thus the reason for this video. What is fire? Because the destructive potential of fire is enormous, we should all take time to learn about it and identify its weaknesses. For instance, apart from a chemical chain reaction, we should know that for fire to survive, it needs 3 basic elements. They are fuel, air, and heat. Take one of these elements away and you will extinguish the fire. This can be done by starving the fire of its fuel supply, smothering the oxygen, cooling or removing the heat, and/or chemically inhibiting the flames. Although each of these methods are capable of extinguishing a fire by themselves, cooling is the most common method of fire suppression and is best achieved by the use of water, which has the capacity to absorb enormous amounts of heat. Starvation can be achieved by removing the combustible material. For example, an LPG gas fire can be extinguished by simply closing off the fuel supply. Smothering can be achieved by using a dry powder extinguisher, a fire blanket, which will eliminate oxygen, a carbon dioxide extinguisher, which provides a temporary inert blanket that will also eliminate oxygen, or foam, which also acts as a blanket to exclude oxygen. Because 90% of foam is water, it also acts as a cooling agent that produces heat. The different types of fires. Fires come in 6 different categories. They are Class A, which involve any solid that is capable of burning, things like wood, paper, coal, rags and rubbish. Class B fires involve flammable liquids such as petrol, kerosene, paints, thinners and alcohol. Class C fires involve flammable gases such as LPG and acetylene. Class D fires involve combustible metals like magnesium, sodium and aluminium. A separate category known as E exists, and this covers fires of any of the four classes that also involve energized or live electrical equipment. And finally, Class F fires, which involve cooking oils and fats. What type of fire extinguisher should be used? There are several types of fire extinguishers, all with different applications. The all-red extinguisher is a water extinguisher. It is designed for use on carbonaceous solids such as wood, paper, rubbish or textiles. It contains 9 litres of water under pressure and has a discharge period of 60 to 100 seconds. Water extinguishers are unsuitable for flammable liquid fires and must never be used on fires involving live electrical equipment. This red with blue band extinguisher contains 9 litres of foam, which smothers and cools. Foam is best suited for Class B fires and is also effective on Class A fires. Again, Class B fires involve flammable liquids such as petrol, kerosene, paints and thinners. This extinguisher has a discharge period of 40 to 90 seconds. Foam extinguishers must never be used on fires involving live electrical equipment. This extinguisher contains carbon dioxide, commonly referred to as CO2. Recognisable by its red colour with a black band and a large nozzle, it is designed for use on fires involving flammable liquids and live electrical equipment. It smothers the fire by eliminating the oxygen. Dry chemical powder extinguishers are rated either ABE or BE. ABE are considered suitable for Class A solids, Class B flammable liquids, Class C flammable gases and Class E electrical fires. They are not considered effective for Class F cooking oil fires. BE rated extinguishers are considered suitable for Class B, Class C and Class E fires and may be used with limited effectiveness on Class F fires. You can identify this extinguisher by the white stripe on the red extinguisher. A red extinguisher with a bone stripe signifies wet chemical extinguisher, specifically designed for use in kitchens on deep fryer fires involving fat and cooking oil. Great care should be taken when using this extinguisher on small pots not to cause splashes of hot oil. In these circumstances, a fire blanket may be a safer alternative. This extinguisher must never be used on fires involving live electrical equipment. How are extinguishers used? Again, before using the fire extinguisher, it is important that you remain calm, assess the situation, raise the alarm, call the fire brigade, assist anybody in immediate danger, but only if it is safe to do so, and evacuate the area. Once these steps have been completed, you should then switch off all power if there is a chance of electricity being involved. If there are flammable gases involved, never try to extinguish the flames until you know that you can isolate the source of the fuel once the fire is extinguished. Always select the right extinguisher for the fire. Before using the extinguisher, if possible, get someone to grab a second extinguisher in case one of them is faulty or inadequate. Each extinguisher should carry a safety seal which can be removed by simply twisting the safety pin. Once the pin has been removed, the extinguisher can be operated by using a squeezing action on the lever which allows on-off operation. This enables you to conserve the contents as you move from point to point whilst you fight the fire. Remember the acronym PASS. Pull the pin at the top of the extinguisher. Aim at the base of the fire, not the flames. Squeeze the lever slowly and sweep from side to side. Note that all modern extinguishers should be kept in an upright position. Always approach the fire cautiously, do not run. You don't want to become part of the problem. If you are out in the open, approach the fire with the wind at your back. Different extinguishers throw their contents different distances, so always test the extinguisher before you attack the fire to check that it is functioning properly and to measure its throwing distance. Keep low on your approach where there is less heat and less smoke. Always maintain a safe line of retreat. If you are using water from a hose, aim at the base of the fire and work the stream from side to side. As flames diminish, change from stream to spray. The water extinguishers should be operated from a distance of about 6 meters, moving in as the flames diminish, and will last for approximately 1 minute. When using foam, direct the jet against a wall or an upright object to allow the foam to flow back over the surface of the burning liquid. Foam extinguishers should be used at a distance of about 4 meters and will last for approximately 30 to 40 seconds. It is important to note that the nozzles on the foam extinguishers have air holes on them to help create the foam, so when using a foam extinguisher, always keep your hands well away from these holes. Never use foam or water on fires involving electricity. When using a dry powder, direct the nozzle at the near edge of the fire and sweep from side to side in a rapid sweeping motion. This dry powder extinguisher should be used at a distance of 3 to 4 meters and will last for 30 to 35 seconds. You should be mindful that dry chemicals can be quickly dispersed by wind, so never turn your back on a fire and always watch out for reignition, known as flashback. If you are using a dry powder indoors, remember a little goes a long way, so try to use sparingly. Excessive use of powder indoors can create breathing difficulties. Carbon dioxide should be aimed at the near edge of the fire and sprayed from side to side in a gentle sweeping action. This 3.5 kilogram extinguisher's most efficient distance is 1 meter and will last for 13 to 15 seconds, which sounds like very little time, but as you can see, it is more than adequate when used correctly. You should also be careful when using carbon dioxide in confined areas, as it is designed to remove the oxygen, which could make that confined area dangerous to human life. Because CO2 discharges below freezing, avoid contact with the nozzle, as cold burns could result. It is important to note that most extinguishers have controllable discharge. In other words, you control the expenditure of their contents. It is therefore imperative that once an extinguisher has been used, it must never be put back on its hook, regardless of the amount of contents used. They must always be recharged. You will have a far better chance of fighting and surviving a fire if you are aware of what sort of flammable products are stored in your premises, and the methods of dealing with each risk that those flammable products will produce in a fire. You can and should always assist to ensure quick and easy access to all firefighting equipment. You should be aware of all internal procedures, including the layout of your premises, where the exits are, and access to various locations. You should also know the locations of electrical switch rooms, fuse boards, oil valves, etc., as well as the types of water supply available and their use. Finally, when you are attacking a fire, do not place your life in jeopardy. We repeat, always keep a clear line of escape. Nothing is worth the cost of a human life. As we said at the start of this video, the best way to fight fires is to prevent them from happening in the first place. But accidents will happen. If you ever come across a fire, we hope that this short presentation will assist you to do all the right things in those critical first few minutes. In the process, the potentially disastrous effects of fire can be kept to a minimum by a well-prepared and knowledgeable group of people. Thank you.